FNCS is so popular, it just broke Fortnite. We had over 1 million people try to queue into EU FNCS, it overloaded the servers, and the tournament broke. They had to reschedule it, and now they're running round 1 and 2 today instead of yesterday. And I know this is frustrating, especially for a lot of you guys who probably made plans, you probably set aside time to play, and now maybe you can't play the new tournament schedule. But if a tournament's gonna break for whatever reason, I'm happy that it's because Fortnite is so popular right now. And you gotta remember, this was only who tried to queue into game 1. After game 1, it broke, so it would have gone above 1 million players if the tournament actually worked the whole time. And for any of you guys who are skeptical or questioning how we know this, we got this information directly from Osirion. He actually pulled the data from the back end of Fortnite's API, and we even had Evan, a Fortnite dev, respond to his tweet and obviously insinuating that that's true. He said, "This is why you now know what we're dealing with. That is why the tournament broke, because there was too many people." It did fortunately work on every other region. They fixed it with about an hour to go and left the queues running to kind of test it, but the points didn't actually matter. But the tournament worked on all of the other regions. So I'm hopeful, I'm very hopeful it will work on EU now as well. Obviously, whatever change they've made, now they're expecting this many players should keep it fixed, but that was absolutely ridiculous. I never thought we would see over 1 million people queuing into one tournament on one region. Unfortunately, I wish I could say this was the only bug with the tournament. We still have 2 other major bugs, and again, there's other ones, but I want to get bogged down with that. We currently have a bug where you can crash your Fortnite if you open your map, which is obviously a disastrous bug to happen during FNCS. It's kind of important to be able to check your map in a competitive game of Fortnite. That looks like it's getting better. We had more people crashing yesterday during the Cash Cup than we did during FNCS, so hopefully that one's getting better. The other one that's a bit annoying, but maybe not as annoying for players, but sucks for me doing watch parties, is the point bug. Everyone's points reset back to 0 at the start of every game. It just displays as 0. They still have their points. They're still being put in lobbies at the same amount of skill they should be at. So it's not affecting the actual tournament. It's more just displaying their points, which is very frustrating if you're trying to watch and follow along. Speaking of watching, it wasn't just the player base that was absolutely insane for this FNCS. We also had the viewership through the roof. We had over 500,000 people watching Twitch during EU FNCS. Mongrel alone, just on his stream, pulling over 100,000 people. It was absolutely ridiculous to see the viewership back on top. FNCS has really brought back the Twitch viewership. Along with the viewers coming back, we had a whole bunch of OG competitors coming back. We had Nick A30 queuing up FNCS. We had Typical Gamer. We had 72 hours. It was really, really fun to see. One of those who has kind of been back in the competitive scene for a while now, Stable Ronaldo, squad FNCS champion, decided to run it up again with Lays. Unfortunately, most of these OG returning competitors did not qualify. It is a top 2000 format on EU and NA, and that might sound pretty easy. Oh, only top 2000, but honestly, with hundreds of thousands of teams playing, it's actually incredibly hard. You needed about 340 points to qualify on NA. Obviously, EU round 1 hasn't played out yet, but I think EU will be even higher. So it actually is quite difficult to qualify for these tournaments, but it's really awesome to see all these returning players and viewership coming back to competitive despite after them dropping the prize pool. I did mention in a video recently, I didn't think the prize pool changing was really going to affect player base and viewership that much, because the majority of the prize pool that got cut was from the major LAN event. Instead of it being a $4 million prize pool, now it's $2 million, which, you know, it's $2 million less dollars, but at the same time, it doesn't really affect the average player, the players who know they're not going to make it there anyway. And most of the players who will make it there are still going to play for a chance at $2 million. So I was kind of expecting it not really to have that much impact, but I didn't know FNCS would still be this popular. With this massive boost in player base, though, there is a lot of SBMM skill-based matchmaking kind of, I want to say, abuse going on. It sounds a little bit dramatic, but basically, it's people who are trying to ELO glitch. ELO pretty much is the term that means how much skill you have in a game, how many points you have in a game, and ELO glitching refers to what a lot of pros are currently doing in the FNCS Opens and Duo Cash Cup Opens, where they're deliberately getting low kill wins in their first game, usually like 1 or 2 kill wins, gets them about 70 points in their first game, so they can then go into another not so great game in their second game, and then drop like a 30 or 40 kill win, and they're basically almost qualified off those 2 games alone. Where obviously what a lot of pros used to do is try to drop a really high kill game 1, because since they're starting on 0 points, everyone's being put at the same. If you know you're one of the best pros in the world, you're Clicks, and you're going up against little Jimmy and Timmy, obviously you can drop a bunch of kills on them, but pros are learning they can extend this. Also, a lot of pros are now waiting, not playing out all of their games, waiting at around, you know, high 200 or 300 points in the Cash Cup for their last game, queuing, and then dropping a 40 bomb in their last game to qualify. On the EU Duo Cash Cup, we actually had 11 teams qualify by dropping 40 kill games in their last game. These pros are absolutely running rampant. You've probably checked out my React channel where I'm dropping videos watching these insane games, and as exciting as it is to watch, it's kind of raising the question of should there actually be a kill cap in tournaments right now? Should you get your points capped once you get a certain amount of kills? You want to reward playing aggressive and getting kills, but at a certain point deliberately not playing the tournament to then get into worse lobbies to just run through kids, it just does seem a little bit off. It's obviously smart gameplay by the pros, and while it's still in the game, obviously this is for money, go for it. It's just a strategy, but a lot of people aren't too happy that this is the way the tournaments are playing out right now. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments down below though. Do you think there should be a kill cap, or is this just smart gameplay? I'm sorry I haven't really done any FNCS predictions like you guys are probably expecting because of the format and the way the competitive's going right now, and scrims not really working with custom scrims having to run on pub loot. I haven't really had too much to go off. We had the Duo Cash Cups to go off, but this format for FNCS Opens doesn't finish in set lobbies. It's who's going to be the best in, 250 player lobbies, which are a very different way of playing than set lobbies. So I'm probably going to make my predictions video after Opens in that bye week before we get to semifinals, because that'll give me a better idea of who made it through before we get to set lobbies, and I can give you guys a bit more input on who's doing well, who's dropping where, because we've never had an FNCS where it doesn't finish in set lobbies. So if you're expecting content like that, I'm sorry it's not here yet. It is coming. It's just, it didn't really make much sense to make it before Opens because it didn't really apply.